What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I did want to talk about something here on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown that I feel like a lot of people are probably thinking about in some way, but I figured I did want to discuss this a little bit here, and that's the fact of, can Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown make a comeback in year 2 and beyond? Now, I gotta admit right now, I do think the overall roadmap of the game does look pretty promising, and I do feel like a lot of people are probably saying, but is it really going to get there, and can the game, like, sustain a player base all the way until that point? And I do feel like the overall, like, fan base of the game is probably going to be very dedicated, so I do feel like it's probably always going to have some type of fan base to it because it is Test Drive, which I would say is most likely going to help it. Now, the thing is, in Season 5 here, we are going to have the taxi missions, which is apparently going to be in October, so I would say that would be pretty dope. I was kind of excited to see that. Not gonna lie, because it is gonna add on something to the game there. But a lot of people are probably like, we probably should have got the taxi missions in season probably 4 instead of having that with the casino or something. Probably would have been a better idea. We did end up getting the casino, but that's had a lot of mixed opinions. Like, oh, it's just going to have the slot machine. There's not going to be much you can get there besides some people spending 50, 60, 70 hours to get the vehicle, and some people have even been longer than that and still do not have the car that's in there. So yeah, it's probably going to be an overall standpoint of maybe they should have added more stuff into it, or not just had the entire casino in there with one slot machine and the vehicle. Maybe they could have had other stuff tied to it. But with that, we are going to have the taxi missions coming in Season 5. We're also going to have the KT engine enhancements, which is going to give us like better graphics and stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks, at least on PlayStation 5, because a lot of people can argue right now on console that maybe the game doesn't look all that great and probably could look a lot better, which honestly in some places I can definitely see that. We're then going to fast forward to January of 2026, which is going to have the community voted missions. To be honest, I'm going to be 100% real here and say this really does feel like a filler type of season. And the reason why I do say that is the one after that is going to be the official Racing Center, which is going to be in April of 2026. Does that honestly sound a bit insane, though? That's pretty dang far away. And for me, though, Season 7 is going to have the Racing Center, which you can go there and, join PvP or do rank stuff from that said place, which honestly, I feel like that probably should be in the game already, or, most likely be a focus thing. Like, yeah, we're going to have the community focus missions and stuff like that. Apparently, Pagani's also coming back as well, which is going to be pretty dope seeing Pagani in this game. Hopefully, they're going to be detailed, which I would say it is Test Drive. They're probably going to look great. But I gotta admit, though, having a few missions, I think there's going to be like 3 or 4 different types of them, to where you'll be able to pick which one you want to do. Then the community's going to pick them, and then they're going to put them in the game and stuff like that. But I do feel like a lot of people are like, yo, this is going to be dope, but why not have all 4 of the events in there? Why only have a few? We pick from those, and that's basically going to be it. I kind of feel like some ways people are going to be like, I mean, this is kind of cool, but we also do want to see more stuff in the game instead of having like one event there that's going to be picked, and maybe it's going to be on like a rotating basis or something like that. And I kind of feel like that might be a better way to do it. But when I do look at something like Season 6 compared to 7, I feel like a lot of people, if you are looking to do PvP, which again we are going to be region locked and stuff and no crossplay, so yeah, having something like an entire racing center is probably going to be a great way for people to finally meet up and most likely do PvP. But you're going to have to pretty much wait around 7 or so months in order to get that. And in fact, it's probably going to be later, more like 8 months or so, because we have to go through the other season, including the one we're in. So yeah, we're going to probably be 8 months away from the entire Racing Center thing, which kind of makes me think, though, like, are we really going to make it to the entire Racing Center? Are these updates really going to come, guys? It just kind of does make me wonder a bit after looking at some of the history of something like the WRC games and all that, how they pretty much abandoned those, and then stuff like that happened, and they pretty much like did updates and they stopped or something. I would say Test Drive is probably going to be different because it seems like they are dedicated to this game, and they probably know at this point they basically just can't leave it or something like that, and then leave it in the state that it's in and kind of go to players, go, okay, well, hope y'all have fun type of thing. Because if they did end up just leaving the game right now, I would most likely guess that would be terrible for their overall reputation. And then with all of that being said, there's also the other side of it, which I have to bring up in this video because we are talking about year 2 and beyond. And a lot of people are probably like, are we ever getting an offline mode? Apparently that's not going to be a focus on their end, or at least not anytime soon. And the reason why that's going to scare people is if they just decided one day that all right, well, you know what? We're going to move on from this game. Let's work on the next test drive, or let's work on a different title or something like that. They can basically look at this game and go, okay, we're done. They could pretty much turn the servers off if they wanted, or basically abandon it, and then they can end up turning the servers off. And guess what? You can't do absolutely anything on this game. So I do kind of understand where people are coming from with that. Like, if they decided to just one day turn it off, it's not going to be like Forza Horizon 5 to where you could play the entire game offline. No, this game is literally going to be online with how the entire game is designed. So if they one day decided to flip the script or just hit a switch and go, we're done, all right, we're going to move on, they honestly could do that, and then you're pretty much going to be cooked. You can't play the game, you paid for it, which I would 100% say right now they're not going to do that, because that would probably be worse than the entire Crew 1 situation, because people paid full money on this game and now they can't even play it and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of going to be an entire issue, and the entire online only thing with a game is obviously an entirely different issue, and you can definitely see some problems with that when looking at Test Drive. Now, the thing is with Season 8 is going to probably be the most anticipated update most likely we have had so far on Test Drive, guys. Now, I'm going to be real and say that this is probably the one update I would look forward to as well, having houses. There's just a few issues. For one, we're talking about July of 2026, which, by the way, is currently going to be a little under a year away when we do end up having the houses. I'm also going to be a bit concerned on how the houses are going to work, how is the updates going to work, and the reason why I personally feel that way is most of the updates that have come into the game bring bugs or issues, so it is kind of making you wonder, what are we going to have issues with in that update, or what's going to be broken with the houses, or what's not going to work properly. Like, it's kind of hard not to think that way, looking at the track record of every update we've gotten so far. I mean, honestly, y'all know what I'm saying. Now, that update probably could be pretty dang amazing, even though it's going to be a little less than a year out from now. We all do know, apparently, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out in May. It could be moved to September. Even then, though, that's only going to be around 2 or so months before that, if this was to come out. So if that did come out in September, then we still are going to have Test Drive and all that. But if GTA does end up coming out in May, we are most likely going to be right around the time of Grand Theft Auto 6's online coming out. Most likely in July is what I'm predicting, or maybe like the beginning of August, a few months like Grand Theft Auto 5. Then they are most likely going to release the online. So if we are going to have the houses in this game coming out, then Grand Theft Auto 6's online is going to come out. You know there's going to be houses in there. And that's probably the big thing people are thinking about. Like, we are finally going to have houses in Test Drive Unlimited. The only thing is, we all do know the economy is also getting fixed a bit in Season 5. At least that's what is said. And to be honest, that has to happen, because right now the economy in this game, guys, is honestly awful. The way the races pay out and what you get from them, if houses are 20 million or 30 million, it is going to be an absolute nightmare trying to buy them, grinding the same races over and over that give you like 20 or 30,000. Like, the overall economy definitely needs some type of fix, which apparently is also coming in Season 5. So that would be a great thing, which is also needed for players to make money easier instead of spending like 75 billion hours trying to make some money to then buy a house to hopefully, have a little bit of money left over to upgrade the house and stuff. So you guys can probably see where that is going. And the thing is, if Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to have houses, which I'm guessing it will, if it's going to follow something like GTA 5, you're probably going to have apartments or houses, and they are probably going to take it to the next level with Grand Theft Auto 6. So I am interested to see what they do with that. But with it, is Test Drive going to be able to hang on until that point? We're also going to have Forza in the end of the fall next year, so we're going to have other games coming and stuff like that that can take people away from Test Drive. But to be honest, I am wondering and also really excited to see where this game is going to go and if it can really get to that point. There is going to be some odd choices, I gotta say, though. Like, for example, the community voted missions in Season 6 really is going to be a bit odd to me. I feel like Season 7 with the official racing center honestly should have been in the game at launch, and seeing that come out probably around 8 or so months from now is a bit unfortunate. Like, I feel like if they had that in the game, even with region lock, at least you could still go in there and find players that are also going to be going to one location trying to do a race instead of going around the map to 50 different events going, oh, I hope there's somebody in this one, which is kind of hilarious because even they do know that is not going to work. We're then going to have the most anticipated update, which is the houses, which a lot of people are excited for. I am interested to see how they're going to execute it. Some of the early footage in that one trailer, though, honestly wasn't looking all that great with the houses. Seeing the glass and the way some of the stuff looks with, like, the chairs and all that around the areas was kind of a bit iffy. I do know it's going to be early footage of it, so you can't really judge it and stuff, but unfortunately, guys, in this day and age with how games are, like, people really are expecting kind of like the highest thing ever with these games, and I can't really blame them with the technology and the way graphics and stuff look like that, even though this is coming from someone who has been having a great time playing PS2 and PS3 games recently. So, yeah, those games aren't going to be all that graphically great, but the overall gameplay is honestly so much better than a lot of new games nowadays. So, a lot of people are looking for the best graphics, and the gameplay is probably going to suffer, and that's a whole different topic. But either way, I am interested to see what we're going to have for the year 2 roadmap, and that brings me to my question for y'all. And it's kind of going to be the biggest point of this video. Like, I'm not going to jump in and, like, hate on stuff with Test Drive and all that, guys, because honestly, at this point, there's really no reason to hate on this game. Like, I'm kind of at a point, like, if you don't want to play it, that's where I'm at. Like, I haven't been playing the game as much. I hit level 50, kind of just waiting for the updates, which I would probably say other people are kind of similar. But my question for you guys, though, is can this game truly make a full comeback in year 2 and beyond? Like, is it going to be too late for it? Can this game ever recover? I am interested to see what the comments on this video are going to say, because the entire point is for everyone in the community or people just to, like, discuss and kind of go over their real thoughts on the game and what they think. Like, can the game really get there? And honestly, is it going to be too late? Can the game recover a real fan base? We all do know on Steam the game's still going to be around 300 players, sometimes around 400 on average of having like a peak thing or whatever in that day. So that is going to be pretty dang low for a newer game, which we can all agree with. But can it really get higher? Can the servers really sustain that if it was to get higher? Like, there's a lot of questions there. Like, if, for example, on Steam, guys, there was 20,000 people on Steam trying to get on the game, could the game handle it? Or would the servers completely crash out? Like, these are questions I'm asking. Other players are probably wondering. We have bigger updates, hopefully, coming in year 2. And with that would most likely bring more players into the game, or at least bring the returning players back to the game. So there really is a lot of questions to be had here, and I can't wait to see what everybody else does say. To be honest, I feel like executing the game right could definitely get it on a better track. The only unfortunate part is we really are looking at around a year or so for this game to be on a better track, which honestly does bring me to the point of, well, maybe Test Drive should have went a few more years instead of like pretty much building upon it, having like a roadmap or promises that a lot of players will probably be like, well, can I even look forward to this? Like, is it going to happen? What if the game shuts down? Are we ever going to get region, like unregion lock, I should say? Can we play with our friends? It really is going to be a lot of questions that are basically up in the air for this entire franchise.